Alright, so, here's just another video that I'm gonna do. It's kind of gonna be about, you know, clone raids. I don't know. Just clone report. Yeah, that's what I'll say. It's a clone report. So, you know, looking around at, like, the mall, I would say, you know, at the mall, at the grocery store, I would say, you know, obviously, most people are clones. Obviously, you know, the percent, you know, that's a huge question. One of the biggest questions of mankind right now. And I'm not really too sure what it is, the numbers. Don't know. Who knows really what it is? I can say that if you were to line up every group of people from my point of view, it would almost seem as if maybe, probably black women have maybe more real human women, like just more humans than any other group, which I think is one of the reasons why they're pushing for so much interracial dating with black women to try to ensnare what few you know, what human women remain. You know, not that those are the only human women on the earth, but I think that's probably going to be the group where you're going to see the largest percentage of women. And this is just, you know, I've gotten reasonably good at spotting clones. You know, I've been doing it for like 2 years. So, you know, from my point of view, I would maybe say anywhere from 5 to 2% of black women, maybe, are real human women. I mean, it's real tough to kind of narrow down, but, you know, yeah. If you had to get me at a percentage point, plus or minus 1 percentage point, I would probably say like 3% of black women are real human women, plus or minus 1 or 2 points. But I mean, that's, you know, it's a hard thing to say for real. You know, until I'm able to see auras, which I can't, or like the true faces of the fallen and demons, which I want to. You know, if heaven or the angels or God is listening, I want to see it. I mean, I want to see them. I want to see their real faces, because I think that's just going to be how I take the next step forward, you know, in terms of maybe passing out, you know, business cards with clone conspiracy theories on them or something, you know. I mean, I don't want to do it to a tear. It's a waste of time, maybe, probably. So, I mean, I just rather do it, you know, if I'm going to do it, I really want to know that they're human. So, we'll see. You know, as far as, that's black women. Hispanic women, I'm not in Vegas anymore. I'm in Savannah, so I don't really see Hispanic women like that. Not really. I mean, there are a few. You know, I saw this one Hispanic guy. He was like a Hispanic. I'm sorry, I thought I heard something. He was like a Hispanic Mexican guy, and on one hand, he was kind of dressed like, you know, he was gonna be like your typical Mexican contractor, and on the other hand, his face had like blush on it. It was just the fucking, sorry. It was just the weirdest thing. It was just so off-putting. Like it's like the least thing you would expect out of a Mexican man, but whatever. But what was funny about it, I saw him twice. The second time I saw him, he was shopping for like baby clothes or something, like kids' clothes, little girl clothes. And, you know, I'm pretty sure they weren't for him. It was probably for his actual daughter that he had. But, I mean, I'm not saying the guy was wearing makeup, but, you know, he was a tranny clone. And, you know, his feminine side was just such that, you know, you saw the rosiness of his cheeks. And it was just really weird. You know, it's not, you know, your typical, like, you know, Mexican contractor, worker type dude. You just really wouldn't expect, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. Rosy cheeks and all that. Did I see any real white people? Well, we'll get to the males last. Did I see any real white women? I think I may have. I think I saw one. She was at Claire's, and she seemed to have a narrow skull, and her eyes seemed to be close together. So I think she was a real human, but she was there with her kid. I didn't see the kid because it had, I mean, you know, the kid had its face turned. And that's kind of another thing, like how many, you know, 20 or 30 something real humans are raising like terror children and they don't even know it. Or, you know, they're not totally aware of it. They may think like, man, why does this kid always act like such a demon? Well, because it is a demon. But, I mean, I don't, and that's some sad stuff because, you know, if you're dating or married to a terror, but you have no kids, you know, it's tough to walk away, but, you know, you'll probably just end up doing it. You'll probably know it's for the best. But, you know, what you gonna do when you find out your kid is a terror? You're gonna give them up for adoption? I mean, maybe you probably should. You probably should. But, I mean, that's like probably a much tougher, you know, choice, you know what I mean? Like, that's probably a hard choice for a lot of people, or a hard decision, you know? It's a hard place to be in for a lot of people, you know? Even your kid is a terror. I mean, that's rough, man. I think I maybe, at the mall, I probably saw at least maybe one real white woman. As far as black women, I saw certainly a lot more. As far as white women, at least maybe one, maybe two or three. One of them seemed maybe like she might have been old, but she might have been real, which is kind of weird because most old people are soulless. They already lost their souls decades ago. But, I mean, you know, some of them slipped through the cracks. There was this old black lady who seemed to be a real human once. I was at a Waffle House, and, you know, I was trying to... She was one of the few people, like, I was trying to actually, you know, kind of, like, evangelize or whatever. But I did so in a, I don't know, I guess I wasn't smooth enough with it. And maybe she got a little uncomfortable or something, you know. Weird kid, doesn't know if he's in a cult or if he's, you know, this or that, you know. Whatever, you know. I assume, you know, if you're old and you still have your soul, I assume you're probably not going to get cloned out anytime soon. Well, I mean, anyone could get cloned out, you know, but, I mean, if you've managed to make it this long being an old woman, God probably likes something about you, or I would imagine. But, you know, who knows what will happen in the very end, but, you know. Anyhow, in the grocery store that I went to, I saw a couple of real black women, maybe even a couple real white women. Obviously, most of them were tears, but you'll probably have a better chance of finding them when it's not too late, like, 9 o'clock or earlier. After 9 or 10 o'clock, it's mostly the freaks that come out, and me, because I'm a little weird, but, you get what you look for. But, I mean, if you gotta go, like, in the daytime, you're probably more likely to find real humans. A lot of them, I noticed a lot of them were working for the grocery store. I think I may have saw more human women working for the grocery store than I saw shopping for groceries. And that's kind of, something I may or may not have mentioned before. This world right now, a lot of the women who seem to be having the most fun or whatever are probably going to be like your tear type women. And a lot of the women who are just kind of, they're working all the time and, this is that and that is this, and they're not really living it up right now. They're not really having that great of a time. Those women are probably more likely to be your real human women. So I'd almost say you're more likely to find a real human woman. I think I would say you're more likely to find a real human woman either behind the cash register or working at some grocery store or some store, or like working at a fast food place, on a Saturday night. You're more likely to find her there than you are to find her actually at a club or something like that. I mean, real humans, they don't like it here. They're undergoing various levels of quote-unquote gang stalking, which I've already explained. It's not extreme, but it is kind of the isolation of it all. The terror's always kind of, marking you as different, and you not really knowing why, and not really having too many true, real friends, and just this and that. A lot of real humans just aren't really having a great time down here, and, it is what it is. But yeah, it almost seemed like I seen more real human women working than actually shopping for groceries. And then, as far as men, I think I did see a couple, actually, real men. Certainly, I think I might have seen a couple real black men, but, you kind of have to look quick. You're not going to just, stare someone down or something like that. You kind of have to make these snap judgments, Seen so many LA Rules videos so many times that I can kind of look at someone for a second or two and know if they're a tranny. But there's some people where it's kind of like the line is really blurred. Like, you don't know if they're just a really, really well done tear, or maybe like a real person who was cloned. Because the tears who used to be real people, they're probably going to look like the most like real people. You get it? Because they used to be. But, they had their souls taken, so it's kind of like, some of them, it's kind of tough to really tell. You can only really tell then by looking at the blinking. But, I mean, you kind of have to be sneaky with how you're going to count someone blinking, without seeming like a creeper or something. So, it's kind of hit and go, touch and go, I think I may have seen some real black men. As far as real white men, maybe maybe not. I did see one guy. I was sitting in my car for a little bit. He seemed to be really tall. Between, I don't know. I was sitting in my car, so I don't too much know, but 6'2" or 6'4". He seemed to be like 6'2" to 6'4". He seemed to be like kind of like a retired tight end. Like, you know, kind of muscular, but he's got a little fat. Kind of like I guess like someone who used to play tight end in high school. But now, you know, he's kind of doing whatever. But he never really kind of let it go. And he had like a, you know, kind of a blocky body. He kind of had a very large blocky head. But what kind of got me about him was his chin. His chin didn't really kind of look the way that a real man's chin should look. Because if you look out in the streets, you know, you see a lot of these men and their chins, like, they'll have a football strap chin. Like, you ever seen play football? You'll know the strap chins they have. It's kind of like I don't know, kind of like a tangerine slice or something. They'll have a chin like that. And like the skin will just kind of go diagonally from their chin to their neck. And I don't really think a real man should have a chin like that. I kind of think a real man should kind of have a chin that's like very distinct. You know what I mean? Like, see how my chin is real kind of distinct? See how my chin is real kind of distinct? It's not like the skin of my neck just comes from here to like my chin or whatever. Yeah, like that turkey chin. Like a turkey chin. A lot of men have those turkey chins, but I don't think that's... I don't know, it don't seem right. It seems kind of feminine. And he kind of had one of those. But a lot of the other stuff about him kind of seemed, you know, masculine, so it was kind of throwing me off. I don't... Maybe he was a real human. I mean, I don't too much know on that one. But, yeah, that's just kind of my clone report. You know, probably in any race, probably more real human women than men, in my opinion. Probably like 3%, you know, 3%, give or take, human black women. As far as, like, for every 100 black people, for every 100 black women, you'll probably meet, like, 4 or something who are actually real. Out of every... Out of 150... For white women, I don't really know. It seems to be less than black women, but I don't really know. Maybe for black women it's like 1 in 30 are real. And then, or 1 in, you know, 25 or 30 or 40 are real. And then for white women it's more like 1 in every... difficult. 1 in every, I don't know, 60 to 150 or 200. I mean, I really don't know with white women. It seems to be less. And then for men, I mean, okay, if you want me to give you real numbers, I might just say, for black women, maybe 1 in every 30 is real, give or take 5. And then maybe for white women, maybe 1 in every... I don't know. Maybe 1 in 100. Maybe 1 in maybe 1 in 100. I mean, I really don't. I don't know. I can't really. It's tougher. I'd have to see a lot of white people to really get that. And I'm in Savannah. Savannah is like half black officially, so probably more than that. I mean, it's kind of tougher to tell. I mean, anywhere from every. I mean, I really can't. I really don't know. Either maybe 1% of them, and then for men. I mean, if 4% of black women are real, maybe 1% or less of black men are real. I mean, I don't know. It just, the men are just less in every ethnic group, and for white men, obviously it's going to be much less than that. So I don't know. Men could just be less than 1% of men are real. Could very well be. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I kind of think maybe for women, maybe 4 to 1% of them are real, and then for men, it's like 1 or 2% or less are real. I mean, it's hard. It's difficult for me to say, but for women, I would say no more than 5% of them are real. And for men, no more than 2% of them are real. But what the actual numbers are, I really just don't know. Really just don't know. It could very easily be less than 1%. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. And I think, I think I've pretty much covered what I wanted to cover. And yep. So, probably got some more videos coming out sooner or later. Trying to get a little more consistent, but, you know how it is. I'm at least doing more than, I'm at least trying to be a little bit more than once every 2 weeks, so, whatever. Alright, see ya.